So 20% inflation is no clickbait in the laundry industry. And in this video, I'll show you why. Hi, my name is Christian Wurzelball. I support the textile service industry with management training, now in Textile Service 4.0, and practical hints that you can implement right away. Now to some very urgent topic right now. Prices are increasing everywhere. And when you look at the current state of the inflation, then we have about 6.7% inflation of producer prices. And the inflation of the consumer prices is about 4%, if it's true. Actually, I'm starting myself to doubt these numbers. And so when you look at the inflation in the textile service industry, then you have some major cost drivers. One of them is, of course, wage increases. And in states, in countries where you have minimum wage, the minimum wage increase is incredibly high. One example, for instance, is Germany. So in Germany, you have an increase from 9.6 euro to 12 euro per operator hour. Of course, this does not include health insurance, which is paid by the state and by the employer. So this is almost net wage for the employee. And this makes up an increase of 25%. And 25% is a big deal. And of course, this increases also the wages of supervisors and so on. And therefore, it's a big challenge. And you see the similar effect in many parts of the world. Makes sense, and actually I think it's good for the people on the shop floor because they have missed out a long time, and many of them cannot afford to buy a house anymore or an apartment. And therefore I think it's not so bad at the end of the day, but it's a real challenge for the industry and a challenge for the customers and so on. So then you have, of course, energy cost. In Europe, they're more than triple. And even in the States, it's twice as much as last year, mainly also because of Europe and Asia, who are buying up all the liquefied natural gas. And then you have cotton price, for instance, 50% increase over 1 year. And when you sum up all the increases, then you have energy costs with an increase of about 100%, which makes up 5% to the price. Then in the case when you have a rental business, you might purchase about 15% linen or garments of revenue, and there is an increase of probably 20% on the one hand due to cotton prices, and on the other hand due to the lack of purchasing power. There are big supply chain issues, and therefore it's not easy to negotiate with suppliers. And this makes 3%. And then you have truck drivers, or you do not have truck drivers. That's a serious thing. Of course, there is no minimum wage issue, but you need to pay any amount to get truck drivers. There's a story from Great Britain where they have no truck drivers now for buses, bus drivers, because all the truck drivers are moving to transporting petrol and so on. This is a huge challenge, and probably 20% increase is not enough. It can be 30-40% or even more. I think in Britain it's an increase from 15 pounds to 25 pounds per hour, something like this. Then you have labor minimum wage, as already mentioned. There's a big increase for the labor on the shop floor, which makes up about 30% of total costs. 25% increase makes 7.5% increase in total. Other labor, so for instance, technicians, there is a shortage of skilled labor everywhere, and I think that 5% increase in pay is an understatement. So the 0.8% are actually conservative. And then you have other costs, like chemicals, for instance, which increase much more than inflation, or also the petrol for the trucks and so on. Taking 6.7% inflation for other costs is actually conservative. So at the end of the day, you arrive at almost 20%. Of course, this might be different from each business model. It can be much more if you have, if you need to pay your truck drivers 100% more, for instance. But it can also be less, yes. But it will never be 4% as the consumer price index would indicate. So the laundry business has huge challenges, and of course these challenges are also the challenges of the customers of the laundries. Therefore, it's important to communicate very openly with the customer, and it's very important that you cooperate together. On the one hand, it makes no sense to take advantage of this situation and increase prices without notice and so on. But on the other hand, it makes also no sense from the side of the customer to pressure the laundry too much, because at the end of the day, you need a supplier. Switching laundries is also not very funny right now, because delivery times of new linen are 6 months or even longer, or you do not get any confirmation of the delivery time. So in many cases, you're not able to switch, especially when it's rental linen. And therefore, it might be good to negotiate also transparent indexation clauses. I think you need even there to be very flexible regarding the specific situation. I think there is no one-size-fits-all formula. I think it's also important that all parties are transparent. So when the energy costs come down again, which I would assume that it will be the case, then of course costs would go down again. But many parts of the inflation are very sticky, especially the wage inflation, and therefore it's important to be very transparent. Yeah. If you liked the video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you are an entrepreneur in the laundry industry, then you can sign up for a free consultation, and we can take it from there and see whether we are fit for each other, whether I can make a contribution, and see whether we can find solutions to problems. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.